Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BandLab Plus Coffee. It's time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with another excellent track. Today, we've got Never Say Never by Kaius. So, without further ado, to the lab!
Let the music unlock your heart. It's time to collaborate. You're part of the family.
To the lab! Never Say Never by Kaius over here on BandLab at Kaius N.A. K-A-I-U-S-N-A out of Pamplona, Spain. Reppin' 8.57 thousand followers. And this track already has 13.5 thousand streams. And it only came out on May 21st. Crazy. Y'all are making some crazy stuff out here. 633 likes. Let's take a listen. At the end of July, it'll be 2 years since I arrived at BandLab, and I'm preparing some things. One of them is an album of rarities and B-sides with unreleased songs. I'll only release 2 as independent songs, and this is one of them. This is giving me major LaBouche vibes from the 90s. I like that bass. Boom. The main melody synth here is really great too. Boots and cats and boots and cats.
Here we go.
I want a harmony right there. Na, 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 na. How can you compensate when all you want to do is dance? 5 a.m. dance breaks. Na 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 na. All the right dynamics, whether it be transitions or dropping instruments so that we can get better vocals. And then kicking back in the drums so that we get those hits again. This is, you definitely need some like 3-part harmony on this last part. Yes, please. If all the music in my life was this uplifting in the sense that I just needed to dance at 5 o'clock in the morning, my life would be even better than it already is. I love my life. You guys have given me so much to listen to over the last couple of months, and real talk, it has been my honor, my pleasure, and I am humbled by the amount of stellar BandLab artists that are out there. But never say never. Kaius, come on. This was excellent. I really, really enjoyed this track overall. Like I said, a lot of LaBouche vibes, which, if you don't know, is a band from the 90s. They sing some real popular songs like Sweet Dreams of Rhythm and Dancing. No copyright strikes, please. 2 things I love and 1 thing I want more of in this track specifically. I know this is a rarity or a B-side, and I know you say it's a funny old song, but really, this is super danceable, and I'm here for it. First and foremost, we like that. So in the very beginning here, that is the first thing that I like. It's the synth that you chose to be the through line throughout the song, and it's got a great delay on it, whatever it is. And it sounded almost like an eighth, but I'm not going to put any money on that. It's got a great delay. It's got a great reverb on it, whether it's not too much reverb, so it sits really well up front, but it also plays really well with everything else that's going on, specifically those claps, which kind of are a staple of this genre of music. And then we're going to add elements, but we're never going to lose our chords here. So even when we get crazy with our synths and our melodies, we have this through line of these chords sitting on the bottom. And while I would normally be someone who's really more attracted to like the stabbing melody or the ARP that's playing over the top as the music builds, these chords, for whatever reason, whatever series they're in, or whatever the progression is, just fit really well in my mind with this track. Dun, 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 dun. It's a very good chord progression that gives this not triumphant feel, but this feel good feel. It's like soup on a cold day. It works, it feels good, and you crave it. It becomes a memory implanted in your head that you keep for years and years. So dun, 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 dun. What a great chord progression for this particular track. The second thing I love, we're going to pop over here. We drop out everything and we just go with that vocal chop. We've got the vocal chop and the clap carrying everything, which is a huge contrast from when we're in this area. And it's a huge contrast from when we're in this area. And what that means is that the song has the proper build. There is no correct arrangement, especially when you're making art, but it's really great to know the rules so that you can know how to break them. And understanding that one of the rules is you can't do the same thing throughout your entire track, otherwise people will get bored because our attention spans are terrible. This reprieve right here in the middle, what is this at? 103 to 131. That's a solid 30-second reprieve from the and then it just builds from there. What a great area to put that in. Once you've established what our chords are, you've established what our ARP is, what our synth that's going to be carrying the song is, and you've established all of the different percussion just in time to give us a break. But we know that you've already put these things in place for the end of the song, because if we're being real about it, a song has to go somewhere, and if it's going to go somewhere, then it needs a climax, and if it's going to climax, it's going to do so towards the end so that the listener hangs on the whole time. So we've established the instruments. We let the vocal chop become rooted in our listener's mind by taking away those instruments, and we just have the clap and the vocal chop, da, 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 right? But then we just put it all together to create the explosion of music that we get after this break here. So once that's all done, we come into the end of the track and we start just going crazy. And it's really important in music to remember that taking away stuff is just as valuable as adding stuff. We could continue to add. And then suddenly the listener's like, oh, what do I listen to? And it's really more of a loop than it is a song. But when we subtract elements from the track, our listener has those elements on their mind and they become special. We've subtracted them to give space to something else, and then we bring them back later, and the listener already knows what they're listening for. Those elements are familiar to them. They are that hot soup on a cold day. So when you bring it all together as one big package, the listener's like, oh yeah, not only do I remember this, but it's even bigger and better than it was when I first heard it. You have to take the nostalgia and then actually make it better by taking all of those added elements throughout the track, all the subtractions that you made, and then bringing them together at the end. And Never Say Never by Kaius has really done that. So thank you so much for submitting this. The one thing that I want to see more of is, and I know number 2, the thing I love was just like this whole thing on tracks, but the first thing I love is the bed of chords. The second thing I love is the intermission with the vocal chops. And the one thing I want more of is I want this vocal chop to be harmonized, and I want it to be harmonized in different ways, whether that's using a vocoder or whether it's adding some vocals from a different artist. But in the interlude, and especially where the instruments drop out at the end, we need some kind of harmonies to make that vocal chop fresh again, not only to make it fresh, but to give it this depth of character that lets us have more things to do, because the rest of the track gives us so much to do that being this, forgive this phrase, but repetitive, which it's not. The track is great. It rises, it falls, it transitions. But being the vocal chop itself being that repetitive, it needs the build, much like you build on and you layer your synths. So take the vocal chop, add a harmony second time around, add a third harmony the third time around, and let it become this really great 3-part harmony that is really pleasing to listen to. And you could even end your track with that 3-part acapella, which just takes it to another level. So everyone should head on over to BandLab and follow at Kaius NA, KAIUSNA. And don't forget to follow DJTatious on YouTube, BandLab, or wherever you choose to consume your social media. In the meantime, thanks so much for drinking coffee with me.